Hi, I'm Tim Scales, the Director of the Center for Entrepreneurship and the Center for Economic Education here at Indiana University East.
It's my pleasure to introduce you to another episode of In Your Business.
We talk to local entrepreneurs, we learn about their business, we learn about why they started their business, how they started their business, some of the opportunities their businesses has provided them and their community, as well as some of the hurdles they've gone through, some of the challenges. Welcome to another episode of In Your Business. Today we're going to learn some interesting things about entrepreneurship from a group of entrepreneurs. It's a family business. The business has been in Richmond, Indiana for several years. We're going to learn that from the entrepreneur. But the business is Flowers by Carla. Kind of a different business because it is a family-oriented business and it's not just one person, it's a group of people. And we're going to learn that from this group. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What I like to do on the show is I first like to get to know you as entrepreneurs, find out a little bit about you and understand, who you are, because you are what makes the business. And so I don't know if we would say it's Richmond, Indiana, Centerville, Indiana, serving the whole region basically, because I know that your customer base goes way beyond just Richmond, Centerville. But before we get into the business, let's talk about you and your background. You are Carla.
I'm Carla.
And the business is Flowers by Carla. And you all are the owners, but you're Carla.
So they're actually the owners. They just named it after me.
So you're the daughter.
Yes.
And so you decided to start the business, you needed a name, and you named it Flowers by Carla. For your
Right.
daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So tell us about when you opened that business.
It was strictly an accident.
Okay.
We were renting a building for another reason, and there was a little greenhouse and a few little silks. The lady had closed the business, and I looked around and thought, well, if I'm going to be here, I think, why don't I try this? So I called Carla at her other job, and I said, what do you think about having a flower shop? Oh, Mom, wouldn't that be cool?
Okay.
And that's what happened.
So she said yes, and you
She
said
said
we're doing
yes.
it.
We opened it. Went very, very slow. Friends and family said, oh, go do this, go do that. We did not do that.
Yeah.
Because in a town the size of Richmond, Indiana, you do one big thing wrong and you're sunk.
Yeah.
We went very slow and we made sure we were capable. And so many years later, we're very capable. Mm-hmm. Carla did go to design school in Annapolis, if she wants to tell you about that.
Okay.
We just were in business for a little while, and I started feeling uncomfortable about wondering if we were doing things right or the correct way. So I drove over for, I think it was a 6-week course, Indianapolis floral design. Then I would come back every night and show her what I learned that day. And so we just did it together, but really only one of us had to take the course that way.
Okay.
So she could be there while I was gone, taking the class.
Okay. So your background is not florist. You have no
Well,
background in that?
I was 18 though when we opened it.
Okay. Okay. And your background is not in this business?
No, just Carla is Carla, and her daughter also works there.
Uh-huh.
Now, we have a lot of people there. They are the creative two people in our business. Mm-hmm. I'm okay, and I can be creative, but they could just look at something and know what they're going to do with it, which is great.
Okay. So this strictly was accidental then?
Yeah, very accidental.
Because you were not in this business ever before?
Knew nothing about it.
Jim, you were not in this business before?
No, not this business.
Jim had a large lawn and garden business.
Oh, okay. Selling lawnmowers?
Yeah, I had
Which
to do
we
this for
eventually
Enterprise
closed.
over in New Westville.
Okay.
And I ran it for about 15, 18 years. And then that's why we opened up the shop over there, because I needed somebody over to take care of the people, and she was going to take care of them. But then they got into the flower shop, which has made it real well. And I'd run back and forth.
Yeah.
It's just been a lot of fun. There's a couple things I would advise any getting into, and I know all businesses can't do this. I always felt we had to stay on a cash basis. When it came in that front door, it was paid for.
Okay.
So
We
some
don't
weeks
have
we don't buy things.
We don't have a big glitzy shop. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's ever been important to us. It's what goes into your home or your wife's office. Mm-hmm. That's what's important. Our shop is fine, but it's not the big glitzy flower shop. Mm-hmm. We didn't buy anything new. Everything in our flower shop was given to us. Our tables, our glass shelving. I think too many businesses think they have to start out, and we didn't.
Sure.
Do you remember how many, of course, when Hill Floral was in Richmond, they were right practically out our back door.
Right.
We would go over and buy 25 or 50 carnations at a time. And now, today, we got 600 to 900 in. That's what's happened.
Okay. So business has been good to you, and people are definitely calling you.
Absolutely. But I think keeping that on that cash basis is why we've stayed alive.
Sure. So by accident, you decide, hey, I'm going to start a business. You call Carla. You tell her the idea. She says yes. What'd you think, Carla?
I was excited.
Yeah, 18 years old, you've got a business named after you.
Well, our first couple of months, we sat out in the sun in lawn chairs, and we thought, boy, this is fun.
You sat in the sun and lawn chairs and thought, this is what entrepreneurs do.
Well, yeah.
Well, you can tell that's not what I do. I don't get to sit in the sun that much.
Well, you can tell it's not what we do anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah? That's a good thing. You're not successful entrepreneurs when you're sitting in the sun, probably.
No.
So, well, good.
We
so
worked
you moved
many,
in.
many hours. But, you know, a small business has to. And nobody, I don't care who they are, watches your money like you do.
Oh, well, that's true. And you know, the other thing I will tell you, I've been around entrepreneurs for a long time, and that's what I teach here at the university. But nobody can tell your story better than you can. And I see that also often in a small business. You come up with an idea, you start the business, and you start to be successful. You are so passionate about it. You tell the story and you do it well. But then you start getting busier and you stop telling the story and somebody else starts telling it for you. It loses something.
Yeah.
People are interested in you. They're interested in Flowers by Carla. They're interested in why and how you started it. And they're interested in who Carla is. So, I mean, that's important.
I'm thinking down the road, we probably have a good thing going, because I've seen other shops through the years in town. When that person was deceased or left the shop closed.
Okay.
A good example was Ted's Floral. He was around a super
And everybody
guy.
in town knew
But
Ted.
once Ted was gone, he was gone. We have a little advantage when we're gone, there's still a Carla.
Sure.
So,
And my daughter also works there.
Okay.
So, and she's only 24, and she's full-time there. So,
and she got
so hopefully there's a lot more years to
she
cover.
got her mother's creativity.
Yeah. But I have to tell you that you know, a name is only going to take you so far. And then it becomes the product. It becomes knowing what you're doing. And you know, we began the show, you talked about the size of Richmond, and if you do one thing wrong, you're done. But it also works to your advantage because you do one thing right and people know. And obviously you've done things right. And you continue to do things right. And that's what you have to do in the future.
We're not 100%, because to me, in a first product, you'll never ever be 100%.
Correct.
You can go to the best restaurant in town and get a bad steak. They don't know they're giving it to you. So sometimes if we do send out a product that's not quite as, we don't know it.
Well, yeah.
We
and
give it a
I think
100% try, I'll tell you that.
And you know, if you told me anything different, I would disagree, because of the fact people's expectations are what you have to meet.
Right.
And you cannot always read everybody's expectations.
That's right.
You can try to exceed them, but it's very difficult to really know what a person's expecting. Maybe they had something before and they want the exact. They're not going to get the exact, but as close as you can get.
And I know the general population is not going to like what I'm going to say, but this internet ordering, I can't use the word I want to use.
It's not in our customers' advantage to place their order on the internet. It's to their advantage to pick
And
up
I
the
know
phone
that's
and
the
call
way the
us.
world's going.
Because the communication is stronger verbal with you?
Communication. We can say,
Okay.
I'm sorry, we don't have that today. And then they're not disappointed.
Okay. Well, that's
We have a
interesting.
website that is controlled by Teleflora, which is a wire service, okay?
Right.
There must be 4,000 things on there. Flowers by Carla. No shop, and I don't care how big they are, is going to have that polka dotted vase or that striped vase or that big white calla lily today. They get on there and order, they want it that day.
And some of it's special
I
order.
mean, we can't do it.
So what you're saying is that the internet is good from a standpoint that people get on there, they get the information, they're getting your contact number.
But they should still call us.
But then they're going to need to call you because you're expertise is in customer service.
Yes, it
and
is.
you want to give the customer what they want.
Right.
So you want to customize their order. When they contact you, when it's a verbal communication, you're able to say what exactly you're looking for. They're seeing a polka dot, they are thinking polka dot. However, in conversation, I would think you'd find out that really what they want is
Well, and because our
something
name is on
else.
that website, they're just sure
That we have
it.
all that.
Yeah.
Well, so I suppose when we've talked about it, we need to have our own website. Mm-hmm. And show what we have, show what we do.
But still, it wouldn't always be current.
No, it wouldn't.
We sell out of things, we get
Mm-hmm.
new things, product changes constantly. But at least if they call, we can say, well, I don't have that, but this is very similar, would you like this?
Mm-hmm.
And then they say, sure, that sounds great. But if they send it over the internet and we don't talk to them, then they call and they're like, that's not what I picked out.
Sure.
So
So,
see,
that's
this
the
is good.
downside of the internet for us.
But it is, but it's also a good thing for me because when I teach entrepreneurship, when I work with entrepreneurs, a lot of what you're talking about right now becomes relevant. People don't realize what it takes to be a success in small business. Okay? They think it's easy. They think you're rich. They think you have plenty of money, and that you can always do things, which is a myth, right? What happens is you are responsible for everything. When I teach here in the School of Business, we have management classes, we have marketing classes, we have accounting classes, we have finance classes, we have history, we have English. And people are always confused why they have to take all these classes when what they want to do is run a business. Well, you've got to be able to write. You have to be able to communicate with your customers. You have to be able to know where your money's going, so you have to understand accounting. You have to understand the finance. If you're going to have the inventory, how are you going to pay for it? Like you said, you're a cash business. I admire that because, a lot of times
And it was
interest will eat you up.
It was very difficult sometimes
Mm-hmm.
because we are one shop that we still have in-house accounts. Mm-hmm. We will bill you. Back in the beginning, people were taking 30, 60, 90 days to pay us. We were paying for it up front.
Right,
so
right.
there were difficult times doing that. Mm-hmm. But I know in the end it paid off.
Sure, but see, that's the kind of thing. It's interesting because we teach it. We teach it in accounting. We teach, when to pay and how to bill. And it's important in small business to understand that you can't be paying vendors if your customer's not paying you, unless you've got capital, and it'll go fast.
we started with very little.
The other side is, understanding, the markup, understanding the pricing. Because, you're bringing in your inventory, and if you're paying, $100, you've got to make sure that you're also offsetting any and all costs that you may have. It's more than just that inventory. So you may have to get a return of $250 on every $100 that you bring in. And people have to understand that in business.
Yeah, you have to pay the heat, you have to pay
And
the electric.
it's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It really is difficult.
The repairs on the cars, I forget, I don't know how many vans we have. And he's he's in charge of the banking and the vans and all of that guy
Okay.
stuff.
Well, and
We
that's
don't even-
good.
He counts the money, if there is any, okay?
Yeah. But Jim, you've got a background in finance and banking.
Yeah.
And so before you had the lawnmower service, you were in banking.
I was with the bank for 16 and a half years, yeah.
So you understand the finance side, and I think you're on top of the management side.
My problem has been I like it all.
Okay.
She wants to have her finger
in
in
the
every part.
beginning, I could pretty much do full circle.
Okay.
Then when we got, because I do all of our accounting, I pay all of our taxes.
Mm-hmm.
The only time we use an accountant is at the year end.
Okay.
I came out to Ivy Tech years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was just doing what my accountant told me to do, and I thought, I don't know why I'm doing this. I came out and took the advanced accounting class.
Sure.
I wanted to know why I was putting it here and here. Of course, the computers now.
Yeah.
Oh, what a blessing.
Sure. Well,
But we
and-
had to fight her on that. She didn't want change. And I'm like, well, it's coming. We have to do it.
Oh, what
and
would I
that's-
do without it?
That's the interesting part is you've been in business for 30 years.
Yes.
Okay. So in 30 years, we've seen so much change, not only in how you run the business, but who you're doing business with, how you're doing the business. I hear you on what's going on with the internet, but the internet's early. It's very early. That's going to change a lot.
But it's here to stay.
It is here to
It's
stay.
here
It's
to
going to
stay.
grow. But it's also forcing you to respond to it, which is good because that keeps you flowing into
Yeah.
it. Now, a lot of the other things have changed as well. I'm sure you said your vehicles. You know, I'm sure, you know, traffic has even changed over 30 years.
Oh.
And have you been in the same location for 30 years?
No, this is our third location.
But it's always been on US 40.
We just kept moving down the road.
Okay.
We never came more than a mile and a half
Okay.
from our
okay.
first location.
But why? Was that because of growth?
Growth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've experienced that growth. And it's interesting because here at the university, a lot of times, I like to teach people that they can start with an idea because capital's a problem. You know, when people say, I want a business, but they want to start with $1.5 million, how? So if you want a real business, what you have to understand is probably the most important thing is your time. Because you've got to be committed to it. I don't know how many hours you're putting into the business. I could guess. You want to tell me? How many hours do you think you're putting in?
You know, I've never kept track of my own hours because I didn't care. The thing is, obviously, we could have retired a long time ago. We choose not to.
Okay.
The hard times are over. Why would I want to get out? Why would he want to get out now that
we
times-
enjoy it now.
Right, right.
And I've always thought how fun it would be to win the lottery and not have to worry about charging you too much money. Just have fun
Just to
sending
do it
flowers.
for fun. Like, she just thinks it's fun.
The other problem, I've been a stickler on raising prices. Everybody that works with me says you need to get out and see what's going on in this world. I don't want to make prices so much and delivery charges so much that Tim's not going to call me and order flowers.
Right.
I want people to be able to send flowers. Money's never been my bottom line. I know you have to have enough of it to.
Right, right. But you also know, because you are on top of the things, you know what your fixed costs are, you know what your variable costs are, you know what you can and can't do. Okay? You know your customer base, and so if you have a customer that's been loyal to you, you can be loyal to that customer.
Yes.
And you know, if you've got somebody who you've never seen, you know, then you do fair market. But you can respond because you are
But we help out a lot of
there.
people. We do. I mean, if they come in and they only have $20 on them, then we make them something.
Sure.
We don't say our minimum's 25. You've never heard us say that. Not
Okay.
once ever. We'll do something for them.
But there's a reason you can do that, and that is the owners of the business are you. Okay? You are the ones who make it happen. You're the ones that are in there every day, long days. I'm sure in the beginning there was some really long days, and now I'm sure there's still some really long days because you pay attention to the community. And the community's benefiting from that.
And there's one more point here that I want to make. I have told anybody that works with us, I don't care what their capacity is, if that phone rings and you do have a complaint, and we don't have very many, but we have had complaints.
Sure.
You don't say, I have to talk to the owner, I have to talk to the manager. You take care of it right then and there, and that very day, something goes back to that person. Don't take care of them today. Don't think about it. Don't blame them because they put their roses in the sunshine.
Sure.
You take care of it.
Sure, and I'm sure that's true. I never really thought about it, but I'm sure that different things affect it. So I'm sure if you get, you know, roses versus carnations, there's different things that they can survive in. There's certain,
Or they
you know,
spill
things
them in
they
the car
need.
and forget to add water to them. It doesn't, it's anything. Set them in front of the heater.
It doesn't matter. Don't blame the customer. Don't say, well, what'd you do to our flowers? No, you make it right, and it's
Sure.
paid off. I'll tell you, it's paid off.
Sure.
And we've told people, if you're not happy, call us. Don't just get ticked off and not come back. Call us and let us make it right. Give us a chance.
Well, there's a lot of decisions you get to make as the owner, I mean, as the entrepreneur. And it's fun, but it's serious. I mean, prices is one of those things. Management's one of those things. How about your hours? How do you determine your hours?
The hours we're open or the hours we put in?
Oh, both.
I've never worried about our hours. Jim and I have an advantage. One of us is not sitting at home waiting on the other one to get off of work. We're in the same building at night. It doesn't matter how many hours we put in.
Okay.
We don't put in nearly the hours now that we used to.
No, used to we.
Thank you, Carla and Renee. But it's time to let them. It's difficult for me to let go.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it is.
But
Yeah, we had funerals all weekend. We
it's
worked
time.
all weekend long.
We worked
See,
all
I never
3
thought
days.
about that either, because I guess, you know, you're not on just a Monday through Friday
No.
type thing. You've got to be there when the phone rings.
And really,
I mean,
20
it's-
years ago, there weren't a lot of Sunday funerals, but there's a lot of Sunday funerals now.
And they need fresh.
flowers.
So-
We go in on Sundays and make them.
We don't take them Friday or Saturday and leave them.
So you're there when the phone, I mean, it's
Well,
it's
she
all
and
the
Renee
time.
did a funeral yesterday because the funeral was at 5 o'clock yesterday.
And so no matter what the day, if it's a holiday, if
They
it's a
went in.
weekend, I mean, you're there. That's great.
Now they
It's, you
checked
know,
on us.
Okay. Okay.
No, we didn't. Carla, we needed something, okay?
Okay. So you checked on them, which is fine. I mean, you get that
and
in our
that's
system.
funny, yeah. You know, after 30 years, I think they still think I'm 18 because I might forget how to
No,
lock the
you're
door.
very capable,
but
Carla.
It's cute.
We
It
have
gives them
um,
something to do. It does. It keeps
we
them
also
getting
have
up
a
and
daughter-in-law
moving
that
every
works
day.
with us. She does the billings now.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
so it's kind of
It's going to stay as a family business, I can tell. I mean,
Yeah.
you have a daughter
even-
that's in the business as well. So, I mean, that's, what, 3 generations then right there?
And even some
so
of the girls that
that's-
work for us have been there a while, and they're like family.
Sure.
So-
And you said that the person that would receive you when you come in has been,
our
what,
customer
19
service
years?
girl, Becca, 19 years.
So that says a lot for your ability to work with people when people stay. So that's exceptional. Now, Carla, are you excited about the future?
Yeah, semi-excited about the future. I mean, I like it just the way it is. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to see too many big changes.
Yeah.
There's a few changes that are going to have to happen, but
When the old people get out.
I'm even hoping that someday, my grandkids will want to work there. So, so I can see the same thing that they saw during their time here.
Yeah, I've actually worked with several family businesses in the region, and it's fun because you can see the changes from each generation. You can see the enthusiasm, but you probably, did you think of yourself as an entrepreneur?
No, and this is the other problem because I'm the creative person. I can do the accounting, the QuickBooks, and the banking, but I don't want to be the pencil pusher.
Right.
So hopefully,
And see, I wanted to do that. I wanted to design. There's only one thing in our business that I have refused to do, and that's deliver.
Oh.
I.
and
See.
it's fun in the summertime.
Okay.
She would hate
But
it
if
in the
I drove to
wintertime.
the east side of town with 6 bouquets and one of them wasn't home, I would just be ticked.
Oh my gosh.
The other thing is, we leave nothing.
Okay.
We leave nothing.
All right. So somebody has to be there to
It
take
comes back,
responsibility,
they
and you
get
want to
a
make
card
sure
and
that
they
it's-
say, call us. So back
Okay.
we go. But
All
that's we don't leave anything.
Jim, did you get a deliver?
Yes, he
do
delivers.
He
deliver, yeah.
fills in.
And then we have 3 guys that rotate 2 days
Got
a
3,
week.
and I take care of the guys
Okay.
as far as if they need a guy, somebody to run, I run,
Okay.
Because time limits are hard.
and I do all the maintenance
Well, we had to
and
be
stuff
in
like
Lynn,
that.
Indiana this morning at what time?
9.
9 o'clock
Okay.
at Lynn, Indiana. Well,
That's a little drive up there.
After a
yeah.
holiday.
Yeah. So what's interesting though, entrepreneurs don't realize how much they're going to have to do. I mean, we got one thing that we're excited about that we really enjoy, and you're the creative. I'm a very creative, but we're going to have to do it all. We have to. We have to find a way. You don't like the delivery side, but you've done it, and you will do it, and that's what we have to do as an entrepreneur. But I think I would love the delivery side.
oh, our
the smile
drivers
on their
just love
face.
it. They just love it. They say it just makes people so happy.
Well,
and,
sure it would. Yeah, but I don't understand the flowers, so I'd have to be like you and go to the design school, and still probably wouldn't get it all. But it's that's the fun part about entrepreneurship, is the experience that you get. You probably had no idea when you started this business how much you were going to experience.
I don't think we particularly wanted to get where we are.
It just happened.
I didn't have any. I didn't have a clue.
There were some days we were like, that phone is not going to stop. I remember when we finally put the second line in. I mean, it was a long time before we had 2 lines ringing in.
Yeah.
And, well, that just means hire another person when you have 2 lines ringing in. I mean, you
Sure.
have to.
Yeah.
We couldn't both answer the phone and both
Right
make
now we
flowers.
have 11 people.
Wow.
So
That's great though.
now a lot of part timers because the drivers are all retired guys.
Okay.
They're certainly not there for the money.
But then when the holidays get here, they can all work.
You've
so
got
we have
a bunch of
4 or
drivers
5
that know
vans
what
on the
to do.
road.
Okay. Okay. So you've experienced a lot of change over the 30 years, and if you were starting it today, would you do anything different?
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I'm not sure you could do today what we did back then.
Such as?
Such as how little of money we started on. I don't know.
She used to take the billings home at night while she was watching TV. She hand wrote each invoice and made a little special customer note message on it to get her to go to QuickBooks and do the billings that way.
Okay.
Because she goes, well, it's not personal. They won't have my handwriting. They won't see my little notes. Thank you so much. And I said, but you can't handwrite this many anymore. We can't do this anymore.
And even after I started billing on the computer,
would still put
I would
notes.
still handwrite. But, you know, I had to get over it.
Yep.
But you hate to lose that personal thing.
But you know, as Carla's creative, so what happens is you can print out that invoice, and then you can follow it up with a nice little card or something. You know, so it's fun. It's fun though to see how you guys have held it together. 30 years as a family business. You're in here today, you're laughing, you're smiling, you're all still passionate about the business, you're all enjoying the business, and you're working well together. That says a lot for your family.
And we have had our problems through the years, just like any business would.
Sure.
Carla has left, what, twice? And come back. But we've all matured some, we've changed. But it doesn't matter where you work, you're going to have problems, whether it's family or not. No, we've done very well.
Good, good. Jim?
He just counts the money, okay?
Thanks for holding it together. That's great. Lois, sounds like you've really
I
followed
think
the passion.
the biggest thing was when we went out with the other business I had, it was a going business, a big business. So they didn't have to worry about the money. I mean, they could buy what they wanted to and we could go. And that's what they did. And my business, I closed it down because of the big, like...
The discount houses.
Yeah, I'll get it here in a minute. But
Sure.
our big equipment, Lowe's and them took over.
Sure, sure.
So all we was doing was fixing it. And I said, that's
Repairs,
it. I said,
So you had to find a niche, and you found it. You found it with Flowers
And we
by
were very
Carla.
fortunate that we had this up and going when all that happened.
we had it going, and it's worked
And you know
out
what?
fine.
Flowers are so much more fun than lawnmowers.
I'll bet so. Well, again, thank you.
You're very
This
welcome.
concludes another episode of In Your Business. Today we've talked about a family that's been in business for over 30 years in Richmond, Indiana. You know, Richmond, Indiana sometimes is talked about being a small community. It's a small community. It's a great community. And because of that greatness is why we have great entrepreneurs. Again, thank you for watching In Your Business.